possible medical breakthrough. Israel has recently approved a trial for, get this, MDMA therapy. The country's health ministry giving the green light to the measure in order to study the effects of the substance in psychotherapy for subjects suffering from PTSD. The goal is to use standard measurement tools to examine not only the psychological effects, but the safety of MDMA use on a healthy population as well. And joining me now to help make sense of this all is Professor Nadav Davidovitch, the chair of the Israeli Public Health Physicians Association and the director of the School of Public Health at Ben-Gurion University. Good afternoon to you, Professor. Firstly, this is quite a bizarre story. We're talking about the commonly and infamously known ecstasy, which is MDMA in tablet form and in its crystal form, Molly, to be used not as a rave drug at parties for a high, but to actually help people suffering from PTSD. Before we get into the study itself here, can you explain the stigma, how we can possibly turn this into a therapeutic drug?
So we know that MDMA, the active substance of ecstasy, already for more than 2 decades can have a very beneficial effect if used properly, of course. For people suffering from PTSD, we know in Israel PTSD is around after Yom Kippur. It's a major issue. I myself have served as a physician in the military, and unfortunately saw the consequences of PTSD. Next week, on a personal level, we are going to meet 12 soldiers that we were in South Lebanon in a severe attack, and some of the soldiers suffered from PTSD, so it's something that is very personal for me. And the MDMA, we know if it's used the proper way, can actually loosen up and be used to reduce PTSD symptoms. We know that it's not the only substance. We know that marijuana, when used properly and using the active substance, can be used for pain. And it's a specific study, it's very interesting. It's going to be used for therapists, about 30 therapists, to see how they're going to feel. Some of them are going to get the MDMA and go for psychotherapeutic treatment of PTSD patients, and some without. And it's very important for them to see the influence, and before going to treat, hopefully when FDA and Israel is going to be approving, probably in the coming month, the substance, to see on themselves how it's going to influence them.
Now, MDMA is known to increase the activity of 3 brain chemicals. We're talking about dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. Can you explain in more simple terms what these are and how this drug could assist those with PTSD, perhaps on a level that many don't physically understand or even mentally conceptualize, knowing that this drug is to get high at nightclubs?
So again, everything is in the context of what is the dosage. It's not just the MDMA treatment. It's a combination of MDMA and psychotherapy. And when used in a proper way under supervision and the proper dosage, there is a whole release of, as you said, dopamine and other substances. And this can loosen some of the resistance and some of the antagonist feelings that sometimes serve as that are actually a barrier and challenging different treatments. Again, this is not something new. It's being discussed already for more than 2 decades. There are very serious trials being funded by the medical establishment. And as Paracelsus said, he was a very known chemist hundreds of years ago, every subject can serve as a poison or serve as a therapy. The main issue is the dose, safety. And currently, this very interesting trial is about 30 therapists that are going to have it and express and experience the effect before they're going to treat such patients.
So no doubt, as you mentioned, obviously those that will be taking the drug, we're going to be studying the effects of whether or not this actually helps with their PTSD symptoms. But what about the negative side effects? At the end of the day, we're talking about an addictive drug, and coming down from such a high is usually a hard hit. What can some of these, at least people that are being involved in the study, expect to come out of it from a negative perspective?
Any drug can have side effects. Again, we're not talking about the same use like in clubs. These are different dosage, different kind of use. Of course, any drug can have allergy, can have side effects related, in this specific case, to both physical and mental things. Everything is going to be monitored, and there is already 2 decades of experience, so I don't think this is going to be something dangerous. We're talking also on people that are experienced in mental health, and we know from studies around the globe, including third phase, so it's already after safety and efficacy, in order to finalize the approval by the FDA. PTSD is a very major issue, especially in Israel, and I think we need to welcome any option. And again,
Right.
there are other things that maybe were perceived as dangerous that are being used. If it's used in a proper setting and dosage, this is something that it can be very, very beneficial. And I really congratulate the approval, and I hope that there'll be very positive results so we can move forward.
Professor Nadav Davidovitch, the chair of the Israeli Public Health Physicians Association and the director of the School of Public Health at Ben Gurion University, thank you for breaking that down.